Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to create this Johnny Harris style graph animation. You can download this project file and my bonus composition when you join my new and improved ProMotion Crew community via the link in the description. You also get access to all of the previous project files and a bunch of extras. You can check all of that out via the link. So this is what we're going to be creating here. So what I'm going to do first is just create a new composition. This can be whatever you want. I'm just going to call mine main comp, can be whatever settings you like. Next, I just want to create a solid. This is going to be my background, and this can be something that looks like this. Now, I find the best way to make these sort of graphs is by creating basically first just a rectangle tool. I'm going to set the fill color here to something a little bit darker, maybe something like this. And I don't want a stroke on this. And what I'm going to do is I just want to draw out whatever that roughly that first graph is going to look like. Now I can rename this one to bar. And then what I can do is if I come down to the transform properties, now this is the transform properties for that rectangle, not for the entire layer. So what we're going to do is with that transform property, I'm just going to disconnect this. And what I can do is you'll notice as I scale down on this, it doesn't want to move. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to hit Y and reposition that small anchor point down to the bottom. Now when I create a scale keyframe, I can leave this at 100. With that one here at the beginning, I'm just going to make this 0. And now we have that little animation. Now what I can do is if I make this easy ease, you'll notice that it kind of just smooths out that overall animation. What I can do with this now is because that's sort of baked into that layer, the advantage of doing it this way, if I now move the main anchor point, so this is for the entire layer, now when I rescale this, so say I move it down here, that animation doesn't get affected. If you do this, say to the entire, transform property, so if I hit S, if I created keyframes for this, then it'll automatically basically, every time I move it, it'll automatically throw out that animation. So by doing it this way, we keep that animation always the same, and it doesn't matter how high you scale this or how large, because it's always going to animate to that level. So this is a really good tip for animating these sort of things. Now what I can also do is if I say just duplicate this, I can take that one on the back, I'm just going to basically move this higher, and now I can just change this color. So I might want to change this to something a bit brighter. And with the bar that was basically on top, what I'm going to do is just rename this one to bar, and the one underneath, which is the yellow layer, I'm just going to call yellow bar. And with that bar, whatever, the one that sits on top, you can either leave this so that it's animated, or you can hit U and just basically get rid of that animation. So only the yellow layer is now animating in. Now the advantage here is that if I take these and I duplicate them and I just drag them here on the top, I can move these ones across, and now I can basically, as I said, go through and readjust any of these to whatever levels that I need. Now you can see that if I offset this second start point here, this layer then animates in. So you can see we've already basically got the basis of duplicating this many times to create an entire graph. Now, if you want to learn more about how to create all different types of graphs, maybe you want to learn how to create pie graphs or line graphs, then check out my animation master course if you're brand new to After Effects. In that, I walk you through how to actually create graphs from scratch, and even how to use After Effects if you've never used it before. I've had tons of amazing feedback from students who have never used After Effects before. They're complete beginners to animation and using After Effects, and they've gone right through to creating some really amazing animations. So if you're relatively new to After Effects, then that's definitely the right course to check out for you. If you're someone who's slightly more comfortable using After Effects and you're a bit more advanced, then check out my Animation Pro course. In that I dive even deeper into the fundamentals of animation, you know, really show you how to put that icing on the cake when it comes to creating a lot of these animations that really stand out. I've already had amazing feedback on that course. There's tons of student testimonials and reviews that you can read via the 2 links in the description below. If you're serious about creating animations, or you're serious about really wanting to learn After Effects in the best and most efficient way, then check out my 2 courses via the links below. Now, something else I can also do is come in here to the toggle modes and basically just mess around with this. So I could change this one, say, to multiply, which is going to multiply against my background. So anything that's in my background, it'll try and blend with that. And with the top one, I can mess around with, say, a different blending mode here. Like I could use something like hard light or something else. The other thing that I like to do is also turn on motion blur for those layers. Now you can also add some extra things in here, like I added these little lines and these numbers down the bottom, and also added in some little things in the background. So for instance, I had this image here of this grid. I just put that basically straight into my background here, sort of scale this down, and then just sort of mess around with the blending mode. Maybe like multiply, you know, you can kind of mess around with that to sort of make it fit. If that doesn't really work, then what you can also do is just come up to extract and basically just take out that lighter part of the image. So I'm just going to drag down on this to remove that. So we'll just isolate the grid. And then when I mess around with this blending mode, it's going to sit a little bit better here into my background. So now that I've got that, what I'm going to do is just basically use my pen tool here to draw out a little area or isolate that area. And again, you can mess around with the blending mode, whatever works for you. So now all you need to do is basically just come up here with your pen tool. I just want something like a black line here. I don't want a fill. And I'm just going to basically draw a line which kind of goes across, something like that, and then add a little bit of a stroke. This can be like the timeline. And then you can also just add your text tool here, type out whatever you want, like if it's going to be 1922, something like that, whatever dates or whatever things you want to add into that little graph. This is basically all that I did here. I just use that to basically create that little sort of reference along the x-axis there. So now that I've got that, it's just a matter of basically rinse and repeat. So I just duplicate those two. I can then move them across, just holding shift on my keyboard. I can duplicate them again, move them across, and then just duplicate them again, and then sort of move them across here. And again, if I off center all of these yellow ones like this, they will all basically animate in one after the other. And I can go through and just sort of readjust any of these layers, something like that, and there you go. We sort of have that animation already playing out. So that's how easy it is to already create this. Now, if you're part of my ProMotion Crew community and you download basically the bonus composition, in that you'll basically get access to this animation. And in this, I basically add a bit of a texture effect. And I also I basically have added some glow and also added some camera movement as well, just to kind of finish the whole animation, as well as a few little effects. If you're interested in joining, then you can check that out via the link in the description. Apart from that, I recommend just kind of taking these same techniques and just running with it. I think the one that Johnny Harris ended up using, basically they use a lot more graphs sort of, you know, closer together, and they're a lot thinner. Again, you can mess around with all of these. So for instance, you could just take these, make them thinner, and then put more of them close together. You just have to keep basically duplicating that same process and then just moving them along. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you've picked up a few tips and tricks you can use in your own videos. If you like this video, you can also check out more videos just like this one over here on the side of screen. I'll have all the links to my courses and the ProMotion Crew community down in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.